Hi, this is Charles at Kaleidoscope Rock Academy here in the Seattle area, and this is a demo tutorial on how I approached playing the keyboards for Owner of a Lonely Heart. One of our top rock bands this past year did this at their live shows, and then we did a live in-studio recording session on it in July. And they didn't have a keyboard player, so as director of the program, I'm always the jack of all trades, so I filled in on keyboards, and I needed to approach this kind of... It's a complicated song. There's a lot of cool early 80s synth effects and samples, and I have this Krome EX 88 keyboard here. I was like, I'm going to try to grab as many of those sounds as possible. So that involved both programming them from scratch on this machine and also learning how to actually physically play each part. So at the end of this video, I will include the video of me playing the entire song in context with the band, just my camera angle. There is a full band video that's going up on the channel as well, but this will be just the view of me playing it. But before that, I'm going to break down all the sounds and all the parts in order of the song. So I made a bunch of different patches, basically 3 different patches with splitting the sound in multiple places across keyboard. So this patch has the classic early 80s orchestra hit in the higher register. Then it has a plunky kind of steel pick bass sound. Kind of reminds me of the D50. And then just for one part of the song, we have some pads down here. That way I wouldn't have to switch sounds for those parts of the song. So this is going to cover the intro, verse, reprise. And there's going to be a separate patch for the chorus, which is here. Kind of a bell pad synth. And then I've got one different thing for the interlude. The interlude is really tough because it seems like it just has layers and layers of things, so I just kind of put a brass, a vocal pad, and a keyboard pad on top of each other to make that sound. Just to try and give it that fatness. I didn't really feel like I was going to really nail like the exact character of that part. Too many layers for playing it live. So going back to the beginning here, I have all these in here in order so I can switch them with a foot switch that goes up in increments so that I could like not have to go backwards to the verse patch. I just have a copy of the verse and chorus patches where I need them. The song starts with this crazy brass sample thing that just felt like we weren't going to be able to actually emulate, so I just let the drummer play that, and then when the guitar kicks in, the first thing that comes in on keyboards is after the full band is in, there's a orchestra hit. So that's the one. It's a D, F sharp, C, so like a D7 chord. And I found early on that you've got to hold those down until the sample's done, or they don't sound good. So originally I was thinking, oh, they're so staccato, I've got to cut them off physically. But no, you want to hold them down and let the sound cut itself off when the sample finishes. And then right after that, almost immediately, there's this steel pick bass sound, which is really fast. So some of these bass lines, synth bass lines, I actually slowed down to 25% on YouTube just to make sure I got them right. And you gotta kind of roll them out so all the notes are separate, but get it done real fast too. I'm the guitarist first, keyboardist second, so when it comes to really fast stuff, sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge, but I'm just kind of there to play all the parts on keyboard when people need me, so it goes. I just have a hard time keeping that really nicely even and separate. And then after that, you know, the verse kicks in and it's about 12 bars until you do anything else, and that's just this one octave A and A orchestra hit that you play with the drummer as a punch. And that's it for the first verse. Then I advance one up to the chorus pad, and then along with the guitar, you'll hear that's a little phrase that happens 3 times answering the vocals in the chorus. It's pretty simple, just sounds cool. And the last one's just a punch. You move this finger up to A. And then you're into like this 1 bar separation between chorus 1 and verse 2. And I go up to my intro verse patch again here. This is a good duplicate of it. And what's really cool on the record is it sounds kind of like a harp, like trilling across all the strings. I just used the standard patch and it kind of goes between the pad and then the steel pick. In a slightly awkward way when you do it slow, but when you do it fast, it actually made me pretty happy as far as sounding like the record. And then you end it with an orchestra hit on D. So that's D and D up high. And that's how you start the second verse. The second verse has a little bit more going on. The first thing, like the end of bar, I think 4 here, is this really fast bass line thing that I did have to slow down to quarter speed. And I usually play with 2 hands just because I'm not great with 1 hand on something that's that spread out. Because it's about that fast. And then almost immediately after that is the one place the pads come in, so it's a D major chord and a C major chord. I think the vocals there say something like "in the sky," unless I'm screwing the lyrics up because I'm terrible with lyrics. So I do my little fast. Pretty close after that. And then there's another orchestra hit about 3 bars later with the drummer. So that's an A and an A again. And then to finish up that verse, there's this funky little bass line that goes. These are kind of pentatonic lines. And then for each half of that, if you end with a little bit of modulation wheel. My wheel's out of camera here, but that sounds cool to add on the G and then on the C. And at that point you're done with that verse and you're into the second chorus, so I just go up a patch and I've got my bell sound again. 3 times again. And then the last time, it doesn't end with the pad or the held chord on a pad. It actually goes into this interlude. Interlude's a new patch. And this one was tough because there's just so many layers on the recording. I'm like, I'm not going to get that sound exactly right. So what I tried to do was just make it fat. So I've got a keyboard. These are elements of that here. We've got kind of a piano with a synth in the back. And then we've got a brass sound. These are all partials in layers on this combination mode on the Krome. And then that's kind of, it says it's a vocal airy patch. I don't know if it really sounds like voices, but you put those 3 together and it's pretty fat. So it's my attempt to just fill in the space during this interlude. And the interlude is an inverted A chord, C sharp, E, A. Oh, I should mention before that, there's a little approach. So at the end of the chorus, when it's so that little pentatonic line E, G, A opens up the interlude. And that's the chord progression there. So again, it's that inverted A, regular C chord, and then an inverted G chord, which is B, D, E. That happens a bunch of times. And the very last one is a suspended 4th pad right before the break into the guitar solo, and that's D, E, and A. Or if you want a lower one. On the recording, I actually did this in 2 octaves. I also played it down here. And later goes, even though live you can only play one of them at a time, I just added another track after the fact to make it sound a little fatter still. And so at the end of that interlude, and then you've got to go up a patch back to the orchestra hits. This is getting ready for the guitar solo, that really epic guitar solo. And this is an A7 chord played as G, C sharp, A. With drum fills in between. So there's 4 sets of these. Here's 3, 4. And that last part's a chromatic line from E up to A. Then you're out for a while because there's a big long guitar solo, and then there's that little compressed, cool, clean, picked guitar part, and the keyboards come back in when it's chorus time again. And then this is a longer chorus, but it has the same a bunch of times. So you do that more times than the last. And then at the end, it goes back to the interlude, which becomes the outro. same little line into the interlude. Same chords. Whoops, played it wrong. But then what's tricky is there's a place where it modulates, so it goes from key of A to key of F. I'd go up for that. I guess you could also go down, but it seems more epic if you raise to go to the new key rather than going lower to that new key. This is the same chord progression in F, so we got F major chord, which I'm choosing now to play in root position. E flat chord, then inverted B flat, first inversion B flat, which is D, F, B flat, and that's what we chose to play till the end. The record fades out, but we just ended it on F at a cue from the drummer. So that's how I got through that song, all the different parts. Let's take a little bit closer look at some of the sounds just to make sure we covered that. So if I go back to the very first sound, this is my first patch. I divided up the keyboard into pieces there. So this patch goes to about there. So it's only in this higher register. Then let's take a look at what's building that. You can turn off each component on this keyboard. So here's just the first patch in there. And then here's the second part of it. So just the two together sound like what I used separately. So it's just a little bit fatter together. And then this one down here, so it's got this guitar pluck sound. And then more of a true steel pick rolling D50 kind of sound layered. So there's the synthier one. And then in a lower octave, the guitar pluck just kind of makes it a little bit more bassy. And then down here, this is just a vocal airy sound Skok patch, or Skok preset, that I put in the lower register. So that's the verse sound. And then when you go up to the chorus, this is, I think, built of only what's called Fantasia on this keyboard. So that's a Skok preset, no layering. And then when you go up to this interlude one, kind of explained that one already. It's a combination of three things. So really it didn't end up being all that many different components and not that crazy. I spent the most time building that plucky bass line, just trying to get the way I wanted to. The sound of the record is really amazing, and I don't think I totally nailed it, but good enough for a cover band. And then the only thing I didn't really attempt was the crazy samples at the very beginning of the song. I'm not sure how they did that. It's interesting, I saw Alan White's All-Stars play here in our town, Issaquah, because that's where he was living at the end of his life. And we have a local festival called Salmon Days, and Alan White's All-Stars were playing. And the keyboardist was not Tony Kaye, like the original owner of A Lonely Heart. It's just somebody he was playing with for his All-Star band. And they actually were able to grab that exact sound for the very beginning of the song, and I don't know how you do that when you're not the original keyboard player, so that was impressive. But anyway, that's my tour through how I played and constructed parts for Owner of a Lonely Heart. When we do covers, I really like to get them as close to the original as possible. I mean, the song actually could be done with no keyboards at all. The keyboards are really just like awesome icing on the cake, but I feel like they add a lot, and it's fun to have the challenge of getting them right. So that's how I tackled it, and then I will not only link to the full band video in the description of this video, but I'll also play through just my camera of it now. So take it away, roll.